if you're a parent of a young athlete, okay, and when I say young athlete, I don't mean somebody that's just kind of training an hour a day or an hour and a half a day or all this stuff, and hey, play sports, likes to have fun, all this stuff. I'm talking about a kid that's training 3-4 hours every day. And Saturdays, he's doing his 2 hours plus the games or whatever else he may have and travel and all this other stuff, right? Loves it. No pressure. It's his choice. No one's telling him, you better do it. He's choosing to do it, and that's what he wants to do, right? How do you, in this age, he's playing sports, whoever, it could be a girl, she's doing this thing. How do you help this kid that is athletic, has a shot at next level? Nowadays, they're starting at 8 years old. They're not no longer, it's like 14, 13 years old. Used to be 10, 11. Now it's down to 8 years old that they're looking at it. What do you do to help his chances physically to prevent injuries, okay, to help with speed, decision-making process, lowering the temperature for pressure when there's there? You don't panic, so you can kind of go through it. What are things you can do at that level? At this level, testosterone level, energy, all this stuff, you're super healthy.
Yeah.
What can a parent do to an athlete that they have as a child?
So 3 things. Number one, I would immediately get all of the folic acid out of their diet. So folic acid is an entirely man-made chemical. We've been lied to and told that it's vitamin B9. It's not. We make folic acid in a laboratory. Around 1993, Monsanto convinced the federal government that we needed to spray folic acid on our entire grain supply. So all flour, all bread, all pasta, all cereals, grains of every kind are sprayed with a chemical called folic acid. Folic acid does not occur anywhere naturally in nature. You can't find folic acid anywhere on the surface of the earth. So these are in foods. We don't call it sprayed with folic acid. We call it fortified or enriched. So fortified or enriched food. Enriched bleached white flour, fortified whole grains, fortified wheat. You spin around a box of Cheez-Its, it's going to say enriched wheat flour. So fortified or enriched foods are sprayed with the chemical folic acid. The reason why I say get folic acid out of their diet is because the majority of these kids will have a very difficult time processing folic acid. So what does folic acid do? Folic acid, when you don't convert it, rises. It actually causes hyperactivity in the brain. It interferes with speed, timing, agility, hand-eye coordination. So the fine motor movements and the things that will take an athlete from being a good 8.5 to a 10. Right? Look at Tom Brady, for example. When arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, you can't really make an argument for his physicality, right? He wasn't the biggest quarterback. He wasn't the most athletic quarterback. He wasn't the strongest quarterback. What was it about him that very few, if any, quarterbacks had? It was his timing, right? It's timing. The ability to have a trajectory moving away from you, going, increasing its distance and potentially its speed away from you, and then moving laterally across a field, and then having to throw an object not to where the runner is, but to where the runner's going, and then to put it on the left shoulder, depending on where the running back is, versus the right shoulder. That kind of timing is amazing. So if he didn't cater to the small things, the timing would have, eventually eroded. This happens in UFC fighters, it happens in boxers, it happens in athletes of all kinds. What happens in age is not the loss of physical capability first, it's the loss of hand-eye coordination, speed, timing, and agility. It's all the fine motor skills. So if you actually want to improve that athlete's chances and give them an edge, I would make certain that they are eating a diet that is free of folic acid. There are also a couple of supplements I would put them on. I would make sure that they're taking vitamin D3, about 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 daily.
At 11 years old?
At 11 years old, yeah. Assuming that they're a healthy, full-bodied 11-year-old. I would, if they're above 60, if they're in the 60, 80-pound range, right? So if they're very frail and smaller, I would reduce that dosage. I would also make sure at their age that they're on a very good omega-3 fatty acid supplement, black seed oil, really good fish oil supplement. So omega-3 fatty acids are really necessary for brain development. They're excellent for their joints, for all forms of recovery from athletic performance. And then there are things you could do if you really wanted to really accelerate things. You could add red light therapy. You could add a hydrogen nano bath. I would have them drinking hydrogen water even at that age. I personally think that hydrogenated water is arguably the most underutilized scientifically valid biohack in the world. I mean,
Why do you think so many people criticize that? Like, I've seen reactions to all of us. Like, I have videos about me that's negative. Hey, Patrick, Bet-David, this is that. Okay, well, I'm the insurance network marketing. Okay, great. But why do you think people try to, like, if there's things that I see where people try to break it down with you, is hydrogen water. Why do you think that is?
I would love to debate somebody on
Why do you
hydrogen
think
water.
that is?
No one's ever willing to.
See if I got
Anyone that wants to
something.
criticize me on hydrogen water,
Well, let me
I
play
will
one of them. You
invite
just
them
brought that
onto
up.
my podcast, and I will openly allow them to express whatever trepidations they have about hydrogen water. It is. I would love to see this.
I think I saw this on Twitter. One of them.
Really?
Anyways, if I don't
I'd
find
love to
it,
see it. Anyone listening to this podcast who wants to come on to the Ultimate Human podcast, my guest, I will fly you in at my expense. You can actually stay at my biohacking studio.
I love
and
that
we will
offer.
have. I'm very sincere about that, and we will have an open debate about the benefits and the side effects of hydrogen water. Why don't we look at what the research says right here? And if you can find that, there's a video of me, but I don't know if that's where I'm criticized. A lot of criticism I deserve. You know, sometimes I put things out that I read in articles and I don't check the publications.
Water is the best water you can put in the human body. That little thing that I gave you.
Critics of hydrogen water, scientific evidence supporting the health benefits is weak, with most studies being small and lacking rigorous methodology, meaning there's not enough data to definitively claim scientific. Okay, so would you do me a favor? You go to Google. Will you search Journal of Experimental Gerontology, hydrogen water? It was published in November of 2021. November 2021, Journal of Experimental Gerontology. Yeah, pull that one up. Okay, this was anybody who wants to criticize double-blind, randomized, peer-reviewed, published clinical trials. This is the effects of 6 months of hydrogen-rich water intake on what's called molecular and phenotypic biomarkers. These means they're looking at inflammation. Mm-hmm. They actually used a marker called TET2 to actually measure the methylation cycle in these adults of aging in older adults. The reason why I'm bringing you to this study and not the 13 other studies that I would love to debate on, but this study in particular is because this was done in older ages, right? Most of the time when you see studies in young athletes and healthy young men and women, it's not as applicable. So let's go to older ages, 70 and above. It is a randomized controlled pilot trial. Okay, so let's scroll down and see what some of these outcomes were. Hydrogen-rich water, blah, 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 blah. Favorably affected several age-related features in the elderly. So let's go, and it increased their telomere lengths. Those are the lengths of the chromosomes. Like, one of the hallmarks of aging is the degradation of the distal ends of the chromosome called the telomere. So the longer the telomere, the younger the biological age of that host. So one of the measures that we use to check your biological age against your chronological age is we look at your telomeres. If we can lengthen your telomeres, we are extending your lifespan. So can we scroll down? Okay, so the molecular markers of DNA, chromosome, here's, look at all of the things that they measure, and then we're going to see the outcomes. The biomarkers assessed at baseline and 6-month follow-up were molecular markers in the blood, DNA, and chromosomes, nutrient sensing, protein and lipid metabolism, oxidative stress, mitochondria, cellular senescence, meaning zombie cells, inflammation, brain metabolism, cognitive functioning, physical functioning, and body composition, as well as resting blood pressure, facial skin features, sleep outcomes, and health-related quality of life. So now let's see what happened when they actually used hydrogen-rich water for 6 months. And this will be part of my debate with whoever wants to debate me. So a significant treatment time. So there was telomere lengthening with the length increased after hydrogen-rich water intervention over baseline versus the control water. There was significantly higher methylcytosine deoxygenase. So TET-methylcytosine deoxygenase is a marker for methylation. Methylation is the process that your cells are going through to take compounds that enter your body and convert them into the usable form. One of the hallmarks of a youthful biome is that your cellular biology converts things into the usable form very well. It accelerated in the hydrogen-rich water group. Can you go down a little bit further? It increased brain choline and NAA levels in the frontal gray matter, brain creatine in the right parietal matter. Can we go down a little bit further? There was No significant differences were found in other outcomes except for a significantly improved chair stand performance. This is where the, sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle wasting, right, which happens the older we get, the faster this occurs. So this is their ability to sit and stand, right? So the number of times they can actually sit-stand, their sit-stand ratio.
Significantly improved chair stand performance after HRV intervention compared to the control water.
It can be recognized as a possible anti-aging agent that tackles several hallmarks of aging, including loss of function and telomere length shortening.
And this study was registered at clinicaltrials.gov.
Yes, you can go look this study up. In fact, if you go to, can you go to hydrogenstudies.com? It's not my website, by the way. Okay, hydrogenstudies.com, and just go to view all studies. Okay, there are 1,335 studies on hydrogen water, hydrogen gas here. You can actually go and you can deselect animals if you want to just see. So go to all test subjects. Click that. Just highlight the humans on the right. So get rid of the mice and the rats and the dogs. Boom. Now just select all. Click select all. Boom. Now you're just, deselect all, collects humans, and hit search, top right. So now it's just going to be human clinical trials. Efficacy and safety of hydrogen therapy in patients with early stage interstitial lungs disease. Successful treatment of myalgic encephalomyelitis and chronic fatigue syndrome using hydrogen gas. I mean, it is mind-numbing. First of all, hydrogen is the most prevalent element in the universe. It's also the lightest element that we know of. In fact, if you say that something is an antioxidant, what does that mean? Blueberries are antioxidants. Like, what does that mean? It means that it's donating ions, donating electrons, right? So you can actually do a study for yourself at home. Just order something called an ORP meter, oxidative reduction potential meter. You can get it for $10 on Amazon. What this will do is it'll take any compound, like a liquid, you could put it in this bottle, and you could measure the ability of this water to either cause inflammation or reduce inflammation. Okay, so the more positive the ORP, the more it causes inflammation. This Fiji bottle is going to be about a plus 150. So even though this water will hydrate you, it will cause inflammation. If you dropped a hydrogen tablet in there and it effervesced into hydrogen gas and you drank that, it would drop the ORP to negative 400. So now you would take this glass of water, this bottle of water, and you would turn it into an antioxidant. And if you look at study after study. I use one called, you can go to drink h2tab.com. Go to drinkh2tab.com. This is the one I take. I'm actually a partner in this. That's my son. But go to science. Okay. If you were to scroll down here, these are the clinical studies. Keep going. These are the clinical studies. Where's the scientific studies? It should say on there. Benefits. If you go to the bottom under science, should show you the studies. We linked them there somewhere. Science. Okay, so resources, science. So we should be able to, there were 24 studies done on that elemental magnesium tablet alone. And you look at giving it to
double-blind studies like the full-blown?
The full-blown double-blind studies.
Okay.
And these are the highest level of research. First of all, it's safe across the board because hydrogen is the most prevalent element in the universe. I mean, it's also the lightest element in the universe. So what happens when you put excess hydrogen into the body? It becomes one of the most anti-inflammatory compounds we know of. Because hydrogen, you can also bathe in it. It will go right transdermal. So if you have knee, hip, shoulder, rotator cuff,
you can literally bathe in it, like in the bathtub.
Yeah, if you go to John Jones' page, if you go to John Jones' Instagram, it's going to be down there a ways. But I started working with John Jones before his last UFC fight, and one of the issues that he had, if you keep going back before his fight in November, he did a post with he and I, and we where he talked about. There he is. There I am sitting with him. Click right there. So I have him get in a red light bed. I've got him getting in I've got him doing oxygen therapy, what's called EWAT, exercise with oxygen therapy. I taught him a breathwork technique. But John will tell you that when I, parachuted into his camp, one of the issues that he had was just because of his career, he's waking up every day in excruciating pain. At the time, he was only training 5 days a week. And he was waking up in just pain every morning because of the jiu-jitsu and all the contact sports. And this is right before his fight. So we went out there. I added 2 major things to his routine. He started drinking hydrogen-rich water, which is NSF certified. It's just hydrogen and water. And he started bathing in it every night for 25 minutes. By the 21st day, he called me and he goes, man, I can't believe it. I am waking up. I am not in any pain.
Wow. And that's
I'm
big
actually
for him.
adding a 6th day of training to my training schedule. I'm taking 0 credit for his competency in the ring. None whatsoever. But what I was able to do was get him out of pain by bathing and drinking hydrogen-rich water going into his fight. And I could give you athlete after athlete after athlete after athlete that this works in. I mean, the single best thing that you can, it's about $1 a day for those hydrogen tablets. I used to promote these hydrogen water bottles, but what I'm finding is the longer you use that bottle, the less part per million hydrogen it makes. And it's too expensive for people. You know, I want my message to be for the masses. And so for less than $1 a day, you drop an elemental magnesium tablet into that glass of water each time. Any water. And it will automatically turn it into an antioxidant bomb. You know, really, if you really think about like, what do antioxidants do for us besides reduce oxidation? You know, about 70% of our circulatory system, our circulation is actually not done by our heart. People think the heart circulates all the blood in the body. It actually doesn't. It circulates it through the major arteries and the major veins, but it doesn't do the microvascular circulation. That's done by an activity called vasomotor, kind of like a snake swallowing a mouse. And this is the most underserved. Vasomotor or vasomotion, right? If you look up that activity, that's how capillaries will kind of move blood through a capillary, kind of like a vasomotor or vasomotion. So I love that you guys are doing this. This is so awesome. Regulation of blood flow in small vessels, right? So what happens is, you know, blood gets brought to the entrance of these vessels, and then this vasomotor activity continues the circulation. So if you want to improve the appearance of your skin, fine lines and wrinkles, the blood supply to the back of your eyes, your liver, your lungs, your pancreas, your kidneys, your brain, if you want to improve your microvascular circulation, which is 70% of your circulatory system, you can do things like expose your skin to sunlight, get in a red light therapy bed, exercising your vascular system by cold water immersion and heat exposure to actually dilate and vasoconstrict. And you can take hydrogen. You can drink hydrogen-rich water.
How long of doing that?
Really would love to debate somebody.
How long of doing that do you see the results?
Immediately.
Really?
If you took 3, I don't know. Do I have some here? Is my team still here?
I've never had it. I have it right now. If you want to bring one, I literally have it right now.
I'll bring them in here. We'll drop 3 of them in that bottle right there.
I'll do it right now.
You will
whack
it back.
See somebody bring it right now. I'll drink it. So for me,
Can you tell my team to come in here and bring hydrogen tablets?
Tony, if you can bring, and so you're saying put how many of them in there?
We're going to put 3 of them in there called a hydrogen bomb.
And does it taste like anything? Am I going to feel?
This one will taste like raspberry. It's flavored with raspberry, but they make an unflavored version.
And what's the other thing that I saw was with the metal thing? What is the metal? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Is that anything or that's nothing?
Yeah, that's that won't do anything close to what hydrogen tablets will do. So if you took, that's elemental magnesium, right? So
which one you want me to do? This is fine?
Yeah, just do that one.
Okay.
Drop 2 or 3 of them in there. It's going to take about 50 seconds to dissolve. You're going to get to 12 parts per million.
Smells amazing. What this is? You said blueberry or raspberry?
Raspberry.
Oh my God!
So it's actual raspberry. So just hold that up. You see the gas that's going in there? So that's pure elemental magnesium. All 24 of those studies are on that site, drinkhh2tab.com. Just go there and read the study. Do not take my word for it. Or go to hydrogenstudies.com. You know, my son and I just did the Great World Race, which was 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I only ran half marathons and I ran 1 full marathon. But my son ran all 7 marathons.
Get out of here.
On all 7 continents.
How old is he?
In 7 days. He's 24.
Good for him.
Yeah, Cole Brecka. I'm so proud of him. And he started at 210 pounds. He was like 189 when we got home. But he's a beast. There he is. That's us in the Great World Race. That's us in Cape Town, South Africa. So at that time, he had already run a marathon in Antarctica. I'd run 18 miles of the marathon. I couldn't make the rest of it. And he ran the full marathon in Antarctica. We flew 5.5 hours to Cape Town, and then he ran the marathon in Cape Town.
I mean, he looks like look at those quads. Was he an athlete or what?
Oh, yeah. He's a rugby player. And I mean, he's built more like a rugby player than a distance marathon. I don't know what possessed him to run. When he signed up for this race, I was like, Cole, I hate to state the frickin' obvious, brother, but you've never run a marathon.
But what were you going to say? Did hydrogen water play a role?
Hydrogen water is the only reason why he made it across all 7 continents. So that is all gas in there. That density you see is all hydrogen gas. You're going to drink that. It's going to go right through your stomach wall, through your esophagus, through the intestinal wall.
I'm going to wait for the whole thing because I still see 3 of them going through it. I'll wait.
Yeah, and it's going to massively reduce inflammation. That's him out on the run in Antarctica. That's the first marathon we did, was 26.3 miles there. And then...
Dude, that's got to be sick. That's where?
Antarctica.
Get out of
South
here.
Pole.
Really?
Yeah. He's actually set a record at the clinic where we went and did his VO2 max testing. He had a really crazy VO2 max.
So how many miles did he run in Antarctica?
He ran 184 miles in 7 days. But in Antarctica, he ran 26.3 miles. That's Antarctica. I mean,
how freezing, how cold is it?
It was minus 28 with a wind chill of minus 48. So...
And remember inauguration, we're in DC, Rob. We're freezing our tails up. We're like, dude,
I was there too. That was crazy.
Oh my God, it was cold. So this is minus 48.
Minus 48. Then you get on a plane, you fly 5.5 hours and land, and got off the plane and ran a marathon in Cape Town, South Africa. And then we got back on the plane and flew 14 hours to Perth, Australia.
What does he do for work? What's he do full time?
He works for me full time, and he is the co-founder of that H2 Tabs.
So this is he's a co-founder of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think all of it is gone. So now, do I mix it or just drink it?
Whack it right back. Whack it right back. If you do that in the morning, you won't even need coffee. And I know it sounds like I'm here to sell you a hydrogen tablet. I actually prefer that everybody take the hydrogen tablet, but you can get hydrogen water generators for your house. You can get hydrogen tablets. You can get hydrogen bottles, but get hydrogen gas into your body.
So it's not tough to drink, just so you know how sometimes there's flavor. I don't drink coffee. I haven't had it since 25. For me, I'm naturally wired.
Right.
So I don't, 7 years ago I stopped. The last time I had soda was July of 2019 because of my former CFO, Ian Benedict.
Wow, you remember July 2019?
Oh, because we were at Breakers Hotel, and I'm sitting there, I'm saying, hey, Ian, how come? Because I used to drink 3 Coke Zeros a day. I'm like, how come you don't drink it? He says, I haven't had a soda for 7 years. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to start today, see if I can go a week. I went a week, and I haven't had anything since July of 2019 because of him. So Paul Saladino was here, 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago? I don't know when he was here. He's a friend of yours.
He stayed with me when he was
here.
Here
oh, really? Yeah. So when he was here, I was asking him about Celsius and some of these other things. He says, listen, this is the worst. I haven't had anything since the last time he was here. So every time it's one habit, one thing, I try to adjust to see what it does for me. I've never had hydrogen water. I'm curious to know how I'm going to feel throughout the day with this. Yeah. So this is every day 3 tablets is what you're suggesting. And does it matter? You know how sometimes they say don't drink water from plastic. You want to drink water from this?
I would prefer you don't drink it from plastic. But, whether you're drinking the filtered water, bottled water, I don't think anybody should drink tap water. But whatever vessel you're drinking water out of, just drop a hydrogen tablet in it. It'll take 50 seconds for that to dissolve.
You're saying 3 or just 1?
3 throughout the day.
3 throughout the day.
But at least 1 in the morning. If you're tired or you lack sleep or you're exhausted, and that drop in inflammation will wake you up. Not because it's stimulating you. There's no stimulant in there. But you will notice that if you're dragging ass and you do 1 or 2 of those hydrogen tablets and you put a high dose of hydrogen gas into the body, it will wake you up because it will reduce that fog and inflammation.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New future looks bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.